Alright everybody, welcome to 2024. So let's start off with a quick recap of 2023 in gaming. But I'm not going to do one of those worst game listings or the best games of 2023. God knows IGN does it, all these big publications do it, the bigger channels do it. I'm not going to bore you with that. However, I will say this, if there was one game that I would award for the shitty award of 2023, it would have to be The Day Before, because rarely has a game been so hyped and has been that bad upon release as The Day Before. And the fact that it was so bad that it shut down the entire studio, that's bad. And that has to be awarded somehow to show others of what not to do in the future.
Make the game louder, Chad. I don't want to touch nothing, man. Oh no, Chad! Look at what you did!
What?
No!
Don't hype a game so much, don't lie so much. Just take your time before you release the game and give us a competent product upon release. Anyway, let's get started. And I'm gonna start this list off right here with Vampire Survivor, because there are a few games out there that can look this simple and feel so simple to play, yet offers so much fun at the same time. It's categorized as a roguelike shoot 'em up, and that alone is a weird combination. And I saw it on Game Pass and I decided, hey, let's give it a try. Let's see what the fuss is about. Holy smokes, you know what? Do not be fooled by the graphics here. All you do is move around the playing field, but you don't even have to mash a button. Yeah, you heard me right, a shoot 'em up where you don't have to mash a button. The characters fire their weapons on their own, and all you have to do is keep out of harm's way. Simple enough, right? Nope. Because if you want to survive, you have to collect these small blue crystals that allow you to level up quickly. And each time you level up, you unlock a few options to upgrade different attributes and weapons. Before you know it, you have amassed a huge arsenal of weapons and magic projectiles that will have you decimating these enemies by the hundreds, probably even thousands. But the enemies also upgrade and more powerful units show up in the playing field as you progress. You can also collect loots along the way and break candles to find items and money. This sounds familiar. This money can be used to unlock tons of new characters and upgrades that you can use when starting a new game. It even has a bunch of DLCs that are dirt cheap. I'm talking cheap. The game by itself is cheap. Right now, as of the making of this video, it's only $3.74 on Steam. That's one of the best bargains in gaming history. I kid you not. And if you want the game along with all the DLC, it's only gonna cost you $9.75. Let me just stop talking. Go buy this game. It will not disappoint. Trust me. The next game I'm going to be talking about right here, it's actually a newer game that was released just a couple months ago, and that is Headbangers Rhythm Royale.
Hello.
This one is available for every console and PC as well, and I only found out about it while scrolling through Game Pass looking for games to download and try out, and it immediately kind of jumped out at me from all the other titles just on how silly it looked. And I thought to myself, well, let me download it and try it out with my daughter, see if she likes the game. We can probably play it together. And now I find that I am playing it more and more by myself. Now let me get this off right away. A lot of people online are going to be complaining about the fact that it's called Rhythm Royale. The game is not rhythm based like, say, I don't know, Parappa the Rapper from PS1. However, it still doesn't take away the fun. There are 23 mini games here, with some being rhythm, some are memorization, some are timing, and others are a little bit of combinations from different styles. You hop online, you get placed in a room with up to 29 other pigeons, and then the game randomly chooses what mini game you will play. You have a total of 4 rounds. You must qualify on each round until there are only 5 pigeons left at the end to crown the winner. The best I ever got was 2nd place out of the tournament. At the beginning of the game, you don't have a lot of customization options. You start off with the pigeon and you can select maybe 1 or 2 different outfits and hair. But the more you play, the more you're going to unlock different hairstyles, different gear to wear, and different costumes and so forth. And depending how good you do on each minigame, you can unlock these features and different costumes. Some are not easy, and you're gonna start taking a look at the listing here and you're gonna say to yourself, wow, this is gonna take some time. Luckily, the minigames are zany, the music and overall look are charming, and if you're looking for a game to just spend some time with your kids and play along with them, look no further. A great time to have if you also just want to kill some time and not have to invest so much time in a game. You can pop it in, play a couple of rounds, see how well you do in the mini games, and hopefully unlock some new features along the way. The only bad thing I can think about this game is that it's multiplayer only. Wish it had some type of a quest story like Parappa the Rapper. It's still a great game, however, and highly recommended if you are into these type of short spurt mini games.
Play! Listen! Play! Listen! Play!
Next up is Rise, Son of Rome. Now, this is one I covered back when I was doing my hack and slash videos, and it immediately grabbed me. I love the setting, but most importantly, I really like the fighting mechanics here. Kind of reminds me a lot of the Batman game, which I actually played first many years back. You can try and just mash the button and hack away, but good luck getting far if you only do that. You have to learn how to perform specific moves to better deal with certain enemies and how to pull off combinations. The timed button options to pull off specific moves and killing blows just adds to these control mechanics. Couple that with short pauses in the action, such as this one right here to break up the monotony a little bit, and I feel Rise is a tad above the generic hack and slash game out there. Try it out, you won't be disappointed.
Formation! Shields, lads! Dressing! Raise shields! Soldiers, hold! Brace yourself! Raise shields!
Next up is PT the Remake. I wasn't there with the PS4 to enjoy the original when it came out. Instead, I had to find the remake online as I worked on my Halloween themed videos when I finally got to play it, and somehow it manages to deliver some truly disturbing images. At that point, the game had unleashed an even more terrifying aspect, your imagination. What the game lacked, your thoughts and fears filled the gaps, delivering in the process one of the most unique and mesmerizing gameplay experiences for a horror game. And thanks to fans out there, this game was not lost to the digital limbo it eventually ended up going into. Thank goodness for that. Now, I'm not gonna go over spoilers here, just get your hands on it and experience it for yourself. The hype is real. The last game I'm going to talk about here is Scott Pilgrim. The game was eventually part of that digital limbo I just mentioned, being delisted back in, I believe, 2014, but luckily, it came back into distribution in 2021. That's when I immediately snatched it up, but didn't get really into it until this past year when my daughter and I started playing it and unlocking characters and beating the game. Well, let me rephrase that. Almost beating the game. We're at the end. You don't have to be a Scott Pilgrim fan to enjoy this amazing beat-em-up title. Solid controls, amazing pixel art graphics that mimic the original artwork by creator Brian Lee O'Malley. Great fighting mechanics, unlockable characters, great music, and an overall package that feels worthy of being considered one of the best beat-em-ups of all time. You can even join up with 3 others for some truly chaotic 4-player co-op. As of the making of this video, this game is available for pretty much all the consoles, so grab it and get ready for some good action-packed fun before it's delisted again for whatever reason. Now, we all played good games and bad games, but how about games that disappointed us? One title that checked that box for me was Starfield. Let me get this out of the way immediately. This is not me trolling. I think Starfield is a solid game. It is not a bad game. However, let me get some things off my chest. The loading screens. Get used to them, because you're going to be seeing lots and lots of them in this game. You want to travel to a planet from space? Load. You want to take off from that planet? Load. You wander too far from the ship in a planet and hit a dead end and you get sent back to the ship? Load. You want to travel from one solar system to another? Load. Some buildings that you entered? Loading. The entire game is just loading screen after loading screen. This is one big load of and you can't tell me that it can't be done. You cannot tell me that you cannot enter your ship, take off from the planet and not expect to see a loading screen. Hell, No Man's Sky did it, and that was back in 2016. And that was before all the updates that it incorporated into it. You can seamlessly get into the ship, take off, go into outer space, go to another planet, and barely if ever see anything loading. Second is the fast travel. Now, hear me out here. Fast travel is great as an option, as a means to bypass sections that you have already traversed, to skip travels already completed, to speed up sections of the game. It should not be the de facto method. You fast track everywhere here. This takes the immersiveness a game like Starfield is shooting for and makes it disappear. This game goes ahead and removes that experience, instead making the destination the culmination of it all. And this bothered me right away. There is joy to be had in exploration because it is part of the full immersion in a game like Starfield, in a game like Skyrim. One of the things that I loved in Skyrim was the travel, the interactions, the side quests, the discovery of small caverns, towns, cottages in the middle of nowhere, and somehow sometimes being sucked into a side quest because of all that. The explorational aspect and enjoyment is butchered with fast travel. That sense of accomplishment is gone in Starfield. Now, some people might like this feature, and if you do, that's fine. I'm not going to criticize you for it, but to me, it feels like it takes away from the game and it's a step backwards when you're talking about a game that's been in development for 8 years. And the majority of the planets in this game are pretty much barren for the most part. There's nothing there to do. And if you want a quick comparison, take a look at No Man's Sky. Now, how is it that a company with that small amount of developers can do something that Bethesda, a company that is worth $1 billion or more, with hundreds and hundreds of developers, artists, concept artists, writers, and so forth, and somehow they couldn't come up with what that small team from No Man's Sky did? How is that possible? And as a fan of the game, you might say to yourself, well, you know what? There's thousands and thousands of planets out there to explore. Yeah, but there's nothing to do on them. I would have much rather had Bethesda gone with a smaller scaled plan and focused on one solar system, maybe 4 or 5 planets that offers a lot of explorational options for the gamer versus 1,000 planets with nothing to do. Next is no full detailed maps. Look at, what is this? What the fuck? It's 2023. What the? 8 years in the making? And I can't get a single detailed map? Are you kidding? Moving on. Now, I don't normally buy into the hype, but after Skyrim, this one had me hooked. And then unfortunately, I played it. Again, Starfield is a good game. Solid 7 at best. This game was outdone by the hype Bethesda themselves brought to the table. Unfortunately, since I am on cloud gaming, I can't capture footage on my Xbox One for this video. But if you enjoy role-playing games and like space games, this is a good mashup of both worlds. Just get ready for lots of loading screens. So that was 2023 in a nutshell for me. Now, what bad games or good games did you play in the past year? It doesn't have to be a new game, maybe an old title that you've been meaning to play for a while and you finally got around to it. Or what game disappointed you the most? Starfield! Sorry, something in my throat. Share with us all in the comments below and see you on my next video. Keep watching and keep gaming.
And the game of the year is...
The Day Before.